Good evening, everyone. I'm student meteorologist Jay Carstens here with one more severe weather update for you, updating you on what has happened with the severe thunderstorm situation across the Big Bend right now. Current warnings, Tallahassee and FSU still under a severe thunderstorm warning. That will be in effect until 4 o'clock, stretching all the way down from areas of Franklin County up in towards Thomasville, where a new warning has actually just been issued, extending even further north. That will be in effect until 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Those storms are beginning to move their way through the Tallahassee metro region right now with lots of heavy rainfall currently on the decline right here. Doppler radar is indicating that just now. These storms moving past Wilma into Tallahassee, now into St. Marks, starting to creep their way into parts of Jefferson County as well. Thomasville getting hit pretty hard with some rain as well. That will be moving out of Tallahassee within the next half hour, we would say, with tornado watch for Leon County expected to expire within the next hour. We're not precise about that, as it's technically in effect until 6 a.m., but we are just hypothesizing that as, of course, these storms are beginning to be moving their way out in the near future. Again, this is a still image of the Doppler radar as of this moment, 3:42 a.m., showing Tallahassee beginning to be on the western side of this line of rainfall. It's been associated with some pretty strong winds. We actually had a wind gust in excess of 50 miles per hour clocked in at the Tallahassee International Airport just about 20 minutes ago. Now, our base velocity diagram here is showing a pretty low threat for tornadoes in the immediate future right here. We see these red and green grid points on the map, with Tallahassee's being the location of the radar, indicating where exactly the winds are relative to where these storms are, so to speak. Again, this red and the green here means the red, we have wind blowing away from the radar, so up towards the north from the south, and again, out of south of the Tallahassee radar, we see the winds coming out of the south as well towards the radar. So again, no real rotation signatures, nothing indicative of an imminent tornado, but of course, we have to keep an eye out for the possibility of something to develop. Again, we've seen some storms trying to spin as they've come off the coast. Again, this rotation right here, another version of our velocity diagram, shows not much in terms of an immediate tornado threat in and around the area, although we did have a tornado warning earlier in parts of Grady County just to our north in Georgia. Southeast radar, let's expand this out a little bit. We started with a low centered in parts of Texas today that has moved in towards Louisiana, into Mississippi, driving this heavy band of rainfall stretching all the way up into parts of Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, down through Tallahassee now. And again, these storms are firing up even as far south latitudinally as Tampa, St. Petersburg. These are going to be pushing their way into central Florida as we go through the day on Wednesday, again moving their way out of Tallahassee. Tornado watch expires at 6 a.m. Tallahassee's on the westward edge of it, of course. Quincy and Midway, Gadsden County, that has expired for you guys over there, as well as Mariana, Wilma, Blountstown, Bainbridge. Really everywhere to the west of Leon County, save for Franklin down here in the south. Wakulla County still under the watch as well. Again, areas of Madison, Jefferson, Taylor counties up towards Valdosta as well. That will be in effect until 6 a.m. this morning. The lightning strikes have been pretty prominent, although they're starting to be on the decline just a little bit. We had a heavy concentration here in Grady County associated with that tornado warning. That has since dissipated just a little bit as that warning has expired. Now, Tallahassee, the lightning has been coming through as those storms have moved their way into the region, extending down towards St. Marks, Carabel, Apalachicola, off the coast. But these will be drifting off eastward and weakening slightly as the evening progresses, as has been the trend lately. Now, lots of wind damage reports to talk about today. 22 wind damage reports across much of the western panhandle, extending into southwest Georgia and even parts of Dothan, Alabama, where they had a tornado report earlier in the day, and more tornado reports out towards the west. A pretty catastrophic situation that happened out in Pensacola earlier this afternoon. Our prayers are definitely out with them here at FSU Weather. But around Tallahassee and St. Marks, Wilma, not much as of now. We're going to probably have some wind reports come in the morning. As, like I said, winds clocking in the 50s at the Tallahassee Airport. The dew points are still extremely high. Tallahassee at 68 degrees, Bainbridge at 70. Apalachicola sitting at 69, with Thomasville being the low spot at 64, despite the fact that they are under that brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Those dew points are very close to those surface temperatures, indicating that that humidity is there, being driven from that southerly flow, bringing in that Gulf moisture, converging with a jet stream coming out of the northwest, really fueling some convergence and big-time thunderstorm production along that line, extending down into the Gulf. The current winds are still strong. Tallahassee sitting at 24 miles per hour, coming out of the southwest, Quincy at 15, Mariana still high at 21. That will be continuing even as the storms move out and the front makes its way through. The winds are going to be very gusty tomorrow, so any power outages could be a bit of a hassle to fix, as those winds are still going to be sticking above 30 miles per hour, preventing some of those power companies from being able to work on some of the affected areas. The wind gusts, like I said earlier in Tallahassee, we were clocking about 52, 53 miles per hour at the airport. 37 being the high spot right now in Mariana. Wilma at 27, and that's going to be staying pretty consistent actually going through the day tomorrow. Now again, things are winding down in terms of Tallahassee and areas west, but for areas to our east, if a tornado warning is issued, what exactly to do? Well, first of all, the key is to find the lowest level of your home, a basement obviously being preferable, but not many Florida homes are equipped with such basements, so the lowest level of your floor is acceptable, really whatever you could possibly do unless you have an apartment. Now, the key here is when you decide what floor to really to inhabit here, we have a guideline to follow that. You want to find the most interior room possible in your home or business place, devoid of windows, devoid of any glass doors, anything that can break and potentially be a problem towards towards your skin, or really causing any kind of bodily injury, as these winds can be extremely strong, sometimes in excess of 200 miles per hour associated with some of these stronger tornadoes, which again we saw out to our west. The threat has diminished ever so slightly, but it is still most certainly there. So let's send it over to Ulises with a little bit of a more recent update.
All right, thanks Jake. Right now, as we look at the warnings, we still have the warnings over the FSU campus until 4 a.m. That's affecting Wakulla, Leon, Franklin counties. We do have the newer warning though that's over into Thomasville, now into points east, now into affecting just to the western city limits of Valdosta, Monticello, and that warning is in effect until 4:30. So we could get strong winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour with gusts. Hail is also possible, damaging winds, and you can still cannot rule out the chance of tornadoes. The possibility of it happening is still there. Isolated tornadoes, that's been the issue all night. We've been noticing the tornadoes all the way as far west as Louisiana back on Tuesday afternoon. The radar itself is right now over the capital city. We're now beginning to transition from that heavier rain now to a more moderate, eventually light rain within the next hour or so. But that line is just, if you're going to drive on US 319 from Tallahassee to Thomasville, it's a really messy ride, and points north as well. So we have been seeing these tornadoes also over Grady County within the last hour, and even Albany was under a tornado within an hour and a half ago. So it's just been a rough night all throughout the Big Bend and points west. But the good news is that this line of storm is finally pushing towards the east, and conditions are going to begin to improve as we go closer and closer towards sunrise later on today. When we look a little closer into the base velocity, you do notice that the green usually indicates wind towards the radar, and red is away from the radar. But because of the fact that there hasn't been recent tornado rotations or formations in the last hour, we don't have to worry about that for now. The key word is for now. That doesn't mean you're out of the woods. There is a tornado watch in effect until 6 a.m. for the Big Bend region. The radar throughout the southeast shows this line now going from South Carolina with mostly rain all the way down into the Gulf where we are. But you notice throughout the afternoon and evening, it just went from New Orleans. Hattiesburg, Mississippi went through a scary moment earlier this afternoon. The University of Southern Mississippi, there was tornado warnings there too, and even some strong tornadoes also into New Orleans and also by the Pensacola area. So the National Weather Service will look at all this damaging effects throughout all these states as we go into tomorrow. So it will be a really busy day for them. When it comes to Tallahassee, however, the winds will be a real issue. Winds could be gusting up to 30 to 35 and even 40 miles per hour. But the severe weather threat will eventually push into the Carolinas. There is actually a moderate risk of severe weather for central North Carolina. That will include the city of Raleigh and enhance towards Charlotte. But even the slight risk will continue into parts of Florida, Orlando, Tampa, Gainesville, Jacksonville. They will also be in effect. And even the slight risk of severe weather actually extends all the way up to New York City. So even D.C., Baltimore, you can't rule them out. I mean, it's just amazing how this warm air, the warm front, is just pushing all the way up into the northeast. Low pressure still over into parts of the Mississippi Valley, bringing some snow on the backside of it into Missouri and Illinois. But it's just been an impressive storm, and it is not done. I mean, It's not done. We still have another 24 hours before it's all through for the whole eastern seaboard. The south has just been bombarded since late Monday until now, and it's just the final, we're now going into the final stretch, and hopefully by the time Thursday goes around, sunnier times are ahead, and that's the news that everybody's waiting for. But the tornado watch is still in effect till 6 a.m. Tallahassee is now on the western fringes of this watch, so eventually it will expire, and that'll eventually now push towards the I-10, I-75 junction, and eventually into the Jacksonville area by the time we get to the morning hours. So we will be looking at these thunderstorms throughout the Big Bend before it pushes further out to the east throughout this morning. And even because of the fact of morning with the sunrise, that could also re-intensify some of these storms that are beginning to lose their punch now late into this overnight period. The lightning strikes are still rolling all the way through St. Mark's, Thomasville, Tallahassee, and that is just being in effect. So we do not recommend you to be near electricity or water. That is not what we recommend you to do. Stay away from that. Just make sure that lightning is out, and just remember the rule: when thunder roars, go indoors. So we do not recommend you to be outside whatsoever. Storm reports, very quiet when it comes to the Big Bend region. Most of the activity has been towards the west with wind damages. There was also even tornado radar. They'll confirm that with the National Weather Service over in the Panama City area. That was about 2 to 3 hours ago. So it's been a really rough night overall. But evaluations will be happening in the next couple of days, and we will bring that to you here at 4FSU Weather in the aftermath between Wednesday's show with Aisha, Thursday with Jay, and Friday with Casey. The dew point right now, very high. The ick factor, it's really humid, really sticky ahead of that frontal system. The southerly winds just bringing those dew points up into the upper 60s, almost 70 degrees. But the good news is that dry air will eventually push through. And by the time we look at those winds, that southerly wind has been strong all throughout the night, between 10 to 20 miles per hour. When those storms come through, even up to 30 miles per hour, we have had gusts up to about 54 miles per hour in Bainbridge. But right now, the winds have been more relaxed, around the 20 to 30 mile per hour range. But still, that's going to be identical to what we're going to be seeing even going into this afternoon once the clearing trend goes through, and the sunnier skies will be more into the forecast going towards the latter part of the day, and eventually towards into the weekend with cooler temperatures, as well as we floor it towards the freezing mark, which is great news, just to give us that possibly that final taste of winter before the warmer times come ahead, now going into March and into the springtime. For the tornadoes, the safest place to be is in the bathroom or anywhere away from the windows. If your bathroom is not safe, we recommend you more of a closet, but lowest floor possible, basement, first floor. And that's just the rule of thumb. Even when it comes to even hurricanes, that's also the best place to go, because anytime there's windows, once those windows shatter, the air goes through, and it's just going to cause everything, even up to the roof, that rush of air would just make it rush up and just make all that air just go through, and that's where all the destruction of houses go. But we recommend you to stay interior, and now we're going to send it over to Casey with a last look of the severe weather.
Let's just we're continuing to monitor this very closely this morning, giving you that information you need so you can plan out what you need to be doing in terms of severe weather preparation. Now, there's warnings right now. We do see severe thunderstorm warning for another few minutes here for the Tallahassee area. Something we'll continue to monitor, but looks like most of the damaging wind threat has moved through Tallahassee now and is moving off further toward the east in some more easternmost counties, also Thomasville, Georgia, as well. A severe thunderstorm warning in that area. Now, I think we're getting some updates. I'm going to step off real quick here. New severe thunderstorm warning for northwest Taylor, Jefferson, eastern McCullough, eastern Leon, and western Madison till 5:15 this morning. So I'm going to switch actually back over. We'll see exactly what's going on with the warnings. A sit update here momentarily as this has been expanded off toward the east now with the severe weather threat. These 60-mile-an-hour winds are a danger. You can see the warning just popped on now for some of our more eastern zones. So Monticello, areas northwest Taylor, also Madison now. Again, you're under this threat here for another over an hour. So something to keep a very close eye on this morning as the damaging wind potential does continue to move off toward the east. Of course, we're giving you that information as it is warranted to keep you and your family safe. Now, watching this line of storms down just east of Carabel over to the north, Thomasville as well. Have some showers and thunderstorms here. And we're watching for embedded rotations. It's something we'll keep an eye on and see if anything does spin up. We haven't had any tornado warnings in a while now, so we'll see how that does evolve. And if we get any in our market area, of course, we'll be on and cover that with you to give you the latest. Now, still on the radar, pausing it for you, you do see the imagery extending with these storms going off toward the east. The base velocity not up at the time, but we do have some damaging winds that are a threat here in just some of our easternmost zones now, or will be in the next little bit. Of course, Tallahassee, eastern Leon, there's those base velocities are storm relative. You see that we're not really seeing rotation right now, but it's something we'll continue to monitor. If we get anything close together, the reds and the greens spinning up, we'll make sure to let you know. Southeast radar, do see this area extending into toward the Gulf of Mexico, up toward the northeast. Shower and thunderstorms a threat. Tornado watch technically in effect till 6 a.m. this morning for Tallahassee. It's something we'll watch. Probably get canceled for the Tallahassee area very shortly as the severe weather threat is starting to move over into some of our eastern counties. Technically eastern Leon under that severe thunderstorm warning till 5:15, but that'll be trimmed back shortly as this line doesn't move. We just got a new tornado watch actually as well for some areas toward the east. So I'm going to step off now, give you the latest on that, as that just got issued by the National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center actually. I'm going to give you all the details on that because this is something we do want to let you know about if you have relatives that are up further toward the east. Tornado watch number 25 just got issued here moments ago, going all the way over to northeast Florida. So areas like around Gainesville up towards Stark even. The Andre tornado watch until 10 this morning. So it's going to be a long situation for those folks there. I'm going to zoom out and something we don't normally do here, doing some stuff going all the way down near Tampa actually with this tornado watch that just got extended for those communities. Something we'll watch again 6 a.m. for some of our counties, but 10 a.m. for some of our areas just outside of our area. Technically, doesn't look like any of our counties under this, but again, if you have relatives, pretty wide-ranging tornado watch. Again, ignore the 6 a.m. I'll zoom out. This tornado watch extending pretty far now this morning. So just wanted to bring your attention to that. Lightning strikes. Again, there's still a story, even if you don't have warnings, what most areas do have as you get out further toward the east of Tallahassee. There are still strikes out there. You got to make sure if you hear thunder, you're inside and just away from windows as well from that danger. Storm reports, you do see 3 tornado reports. Not really seeing them still up too much close toward our area. We had that one near Dothan earlier. Some rotation indicated on a storm near Panama City that was very strong. Quite a few wind reports from that. We'll see if that was from a tornadic storm. And then Pensacola as well being impacted. Now dew point 70 now Tallahassee, but again, luckily severe threat starting to wind down for the metro area now, as we did have some nasty conditions, gust over 50 at the Tallahassee International Airport this morning. Currently seeing sustained winds at 21 in Tallahassee, 14 Quincy, 18 Mariana, and those wind gusts, 30 Tallahassee, 36 Thomasville, one of the higher spots this morning. So if we have any tornado warnings, of course you want to go to that interior room away from windows. But for now, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. If we have more warnings off toward the east, I'll make sure to give you the latest information on that. But again, great team effort tonight from everybody here in the FSU Weather Studio. I'll just try to see if I can name everybody here tonight. Of course, we had Ulises Garcia, meteorologist, as well as Jay Carstens, Tyler Von Harden, Matt Reagan, Brooke helping out in controls. We had Aisa Wilkinson as well, Jay Kimball here as in the studio. Had our 11 p.m. show. Just a great effort by everybody. Colleen Peterson. So again, great morning of coverage. Again, stay safe out there, everybody. And if there's more warnings off toward the east, we'll be here to let you know about them. Anybody, I don't think I'm missing anybody. If I am, just kind of shout it out to me. But I guess that's about it for now. Thanks so much for joining us here with this FSU Weather Special Report. So Andres actually helping out as well, Andres Rondon. So great to have a lot of people down in the studio to keep everybody safe. Zach Covey here running controls for that 11 p.m. show. So a long night, folks. Pretty much over for the metro. Still watching storms off toward the east. Keep everybody safe here at FSU Weather.